In this video, we're going to be looking at how to test your glute activation. This is something that's discussed quite a lot, so we're going to show you 3 simple tests that you can use to check and see how your control of your glutes are doing. Test number 1, you're going to be laying on your tummy. So we're going to be laying flat on our stomachs, and what you're going to be doing is lifting that leg up off the floor and back down. What you're looking to do with this test and to check the range, if the glute activation is occurring the way we want, you should feel this fire in the bottom. You may feel activation in the hamstring as well, as it's helping lift that weight of the leg, but you should be noticing them happening in the glute rather than in your back. If you're noticing any loading in that lower back or any arching in the lower back, you know that that glute activation is probably a little sluggish. You also want to be paying attention between the difference, if you notice any difference between the right and the left, so whether the weight of the leg feels heavier or lighter compared to the two. Test number 2, we're going to be on the all fours position. We want to have a nice flat back, so as if there's a drink on your back and you're keeping it nice and straight like a tray. And then we want the hips and knees stacked in line. And from here, what you're going to be doing is taking that leg back behind you, trying to see how far and comfortable you can get this. And then what you're looking at when you're doing this test is to see what happens at the hip and the pelvis range. So you're looking to see if there's any rotation occurring, so if you're sort of rotating and opening at the hip, or if you're arching and letting the back dip, like so. If these 2 movements occur, then what that tells you again is that that back is doing some of the work, or that the opposite hip is having to load to sort of support. So that will again indicate that there is some sort of issue with the glute activation in this particular movement. The last test that we'll look at, again, I like this test because it tends to help identify if you are able to know how to control these glute activation, gets you aware of how other parts of your body are working. So what you'll want to do is sit your bottom down on the heels, rest your weight down on the elbows, send one leg back behind you. I'm going to shimmy forward a little bit, there we go. And then from here, what you're looking to do is to see if you can lift this leg up off the floor. If, like me, you find this a difficult, challenging movement, then what you might well find is that there's cheats that occur. So in order for me to get the leg up off the ground, I end up tipping my body weight forward and cheating, and I end up using my quads. But I know I'm quad dominant, so it's not a surprising area for me to cheat with. But again, you'll compare the 2 sides and you'll notice what you feel, noticing if there's any shifting into the hip, like me, if there's any tipping forward and using the quads, or if you are able to contract the glute, whether or not there is any movement of the leg at all. It will give you information of how this muscle group is working. If there's any other questions you have regarding the glute activation, what sorts of exercises you should be doing and focusing to target this, check out some other videos on the channel, or feel free to pop us a message.